talk about pathogens and immunity. Whenever we say pathogens, pathogens are microorganisms that cause diseases. When we say cause diseases, that make you feel sick or ill and your body shows many symptoms. When we say microorganisms, that means that they cannot be seen by your naked eyes. They only can be seen under microscope. So microorganisms, they are microscopic and cause diseases, means that make you feel sick or ill. As we had in the first semester, in the first chapter, classification chapter, we had some microorganisms such as bacteria, fungi, protoctista, that may cause diseases. Now, diseases that are caused by pathogens or by microorganisms, they are called transmissible diseases. They are called transmissible because they can be transmitted from one person into another or from one host into another. When we say host is the person actually now who is receiving or who is having the microorganism right now in his or her body, and the microorganism is reproducing, maybe is taking the resources and using the resources that are found inside this person's cells. That's why this person is called a host for this microorganism or for this pathogen. So they may also be called infectious diseases, infectious or transmissible diseases. Both mean the same. Now, these some common pathogens that cause diseases. First of all, bacteria. As we know, they are single-celled organisms. They don't have a nucleus. They are prokaryotes. They cause diseases such as tuberculosis, food poisoning, tetanus, pneumonia. Viruses, they are not considered living cells unless they are found inside the host body. When a virus gets inside another living thing or inside the host body, then the virus now is considered living. But outside on surfaces, it is not living because it doesn't show any sign of living things or any characteristics of living things. But once the viruses get inside the host body, they start producing their genetic material, they start damaging the cells. So they show some signs of living things. Common cold, flu, COVID-19 that we are suffering right now, and we are fighting right now, is caused by virus. Fungi, such as mushroom. Mushroom, by the way, it's not a pathogen, but we have another fungi that are microorganisms that cause diseases, such as ringworm and athlete's foot disease. Some mushrooms that are poisonous, but they do not cause diseases. But once they are eaten, they are poisonous. But the fungi that I'm going to talk about in this chapter are the pathogenic fungi. Now, protoctista. As we talk about protoctista, we said that protoctista are living things that either act like animals or like plants. The ones that act like plants are called algae, and the ones that act like animals, the ones that act like animals, they are called a protozoa. Protozoa. And many of them cause diseases, such as malaria. Malaria disease, it's a very famous disease. Mainly, it's commonly found in Africa because it is transmitted by a mosquito, and it may cause very severe fever and may lead to death. Okay, these are the common pathogens that you should know: bacteria, viruses, fungi, and the protozoa, which are animal-like microorganisms that belong to Protectesta, that they have contractile vacuole. Do you remember when we talked about contractile vacuole, such as amoeba, Plasmodium, Paramecium? All of these are protozoa. Okay, what you should know about this, that a protozoa actually only belong to Protectesta. That's it. Okay. Now, when pathogens get inside your body, they make you feel ill because they attack or fight your body in different ways. You have to be familiar with these ways. Either once they get inside your body, they release toxins, and these toxins are harmful substances, so they harm your cells and you harm your body, and they affect the work of your enzymes. That's why you get sick or ill. You don't feel well. You may feel vomiting, nausea, diarrhea because of these toxins. As a response of your body in order to get rid of these toxins out of it. That's why you throw up, or you may feel diarrhea to get rid of all these toxins out. Also, other microorganisms or pathogens, once they cause disease, they reproduce very fast inside your cells, which lead to the damaging of the cell. And they may even burst it because they reproduce very fast, producing large numbers of these microorganisms inside one cell. So the cell now has no enough room for these microorganisms, which lead to the burst of this cell. And once they reproduce, they may use their resources or the energy resource in the cell. So this actually leads to the damage of this cell. Some microorganisms do both. They reproduce and release toxins at the same time, such as bacteria. By the way, bacteria mainly, once they reproduce very fast, they also produce toxins. Viruses, mainly their reproduction is the main damage for the cell because they reproduce very fast, reproducing their genetic material very fast, leading to the burst of the cell. Other microorganisms may cause immune response. When we say immune response, is the way that your immune system respond to a disease in order to fight or to attack this pathogen or this invader. So, as we know that your immune system produces white blood cells in order to attack any invader or pathogen such as lymphocytes and phagocytes. Once phagocytes and lymphocytes are produced, they should go to the site of infection. Once they go, of course, and circulated by blood flow. So lots of the blood flow goes to the infected area. Going of this flow with lots of materials such as white blood cells and other materials. And as we know that the blood mainly is made up of plasma, which is water that carries heat also. So lots of heat also is going to the site of infection, which may cause a swelling of the infected area, rashes, and so on. This is what we call it immune response, because lots of material now actually circulate and flow to the infected area. Okay, so this is how pathogens cause illness. You have to know them very well. Let's go to how pathogens are transmitted from one host into another, or from one person into another, either by direct contact when someone touches another person and this person actually carries the disease. If this disease is carried by his body, maybe he touches his mouth or nose, then he touches another person. The other person is healthy, and the other person who is healthy gets this infection inside his mouth, he may get the disease, or his nose. Sometimes when we have like skin infection, such as athlete's foot disease or ringworm, these diseases are caused by fungi, and they are appear on the or shown by the skin. So once this infected skin is touched by another healthy skin or by another person, so this healthy person may get the infection. Sometimes if we use the personal stuff of the infected person, we may get the infection. All of these are direct contact ways. This is ringworm disease, as we see here. If you touch this area and you don't wash your hand and you may touch your skin, you may get the infection, because the pathogen settles here on the infected area and is reproducing here. So, and this pathogen or this fungus is still alive. So once you actually touch this infected area, you may get it to your skin. Okay. The other way of direct contact, which is mixing of body fluids, mucus, and mainly blood, such as AIDS. AIDS, which is caused by HIV virus, it can be transmitted from one person into another by mixing of body fluid. When someone actually needs blood and a blood transfusion is taking place from one person into another. So this contaminated blood with HIV virus may be carried to another person. So this person, the healthy blood, gets in contact with the infected blood. So in this case, the healthy person gonna get HIV virus. At the same time, maybe if someone uses the same needle for the infected person, so here is the blood which is from infected person gets in contact with the blood with healthy person. Also, maybe if someone gets scratched and his or her body gets out, and this person is infected and gets in contact with another person, and the other person also may get scratched, so may get to the healthy person. So we should be very aware, and we should follow safety precautions whenever we get injured, cut, or wound if we use other person's stuff. Okay, all of these are direct ways. Now let's go to indirect contact. Indirect contact by air droplet. When someone coughs or sneezes, then if this person is, if this person is infected or has any respiratory um, pathogens, so these pathogens may be transmitted from the air droplets to another healthy person. If this another healthy person actually is available in the area where air droplets actually spread, such as cold, flu, other respiratory diseases. So it's very important when someone sneezes or coughs to be away from him. Or if we sneeze or cough, we should cover our nasal cavity or mouth in order not to get the disease to other healthy people. Sometimes if these droplets settle down on any other surfaces, and you may touch these surfaces and you get your hands inside your nasal cavity or mouth, you may get the infection. So all of these pathogens that mainly cause respiratory diseases are mainly transmitted by air droplets. So this is indirect way. Another indirect way, we call it by contaminated food with the pathogen, such as salmonella. Salmonella actually may be found mainly in chicken or white meat. Once you don't cook the chicken well, or it is raw, you touch it and you put your mouth, you put it in your mouth directly, or you put your hand inside your mouth, then you may get what? The infection. So it's very important to clean everything that you use it to prepare a food that contains chicken, or when you are cleaning chicken. So everything that touches this raw meat should be cleaned very well, and you should not get it inside your mouth. Be careful to wash your hand before you eat. Okay. Now, it may be contaminated water. If someone drinks contaminated water by a special type of bacteria that cause cholera. Cholera, you have to know cholera. Cholera affects the gut or the digestive tract. And this how cholera bacteria produce toxins. The way that bacteria that cause cholera make you ill or sick by releasing toxins inside your digestive lining or your digestive tract. So it's very important to know how cholera make you ill. Now, look at this. Here is the lumen. As we know that the lumen is the cavity or the hole inside our digestive system or inside the blood vessels. Any cavity inside these, we call it lumen. So, lumen here is the lining of the digestive system that contains food, contains water, digested, of course, food, water, and so on. So, once cholera bacteria reproduce very fast and get inside your digestive tract, they start producing toxins. So, these toxins cause chloride ions, Cl minus, chloride ions to be released as a response of the immune system. Once chloride ions are released by your body, okay, inside the lumen where we have water, where we have digested food. So what happens now? We have lots of what? Of solutes, which are chloride ions that collect lots of water. As we know, when we have any solute that increases inside an area that contains water. When we say solute, we have solute and solvent. So we have solute and the solvent is mainly water. This causes osmotic effect. So collecting, do you see this arrow? Collecting lots of water inside the lining. So producing lots of chloride ions by the body as a response of cholera toxins actually makes lots of water to be collected inside the gut or the lumen. So lots of water now is being collected to the lumen or to the gut. That means we have watery feces which leads to diarrhea. So when someone gets cholera, he suffers from diarrhea, and this diarrhea, if it continues, which leads to dehydration of the body, then to death. That's why cholera should be treated by oral suspensions that contain salt and sugars. Salt and sugars, once they are taken inside your body, they recollect the water again, keeping or maintaining the water and restoring the water inside your body in order to reduce water loss out of your body by diarrhea. Other transmitting ways of indirect contact by vectors. Vectors mainly are animals that carry the pathogen from one host to another, such as malaria disease. Malaria, by the way, caused by Plasmodium. Plasmodium is a protoctesta or protozoan microorganism. Okay, this Plasmodium cannot be carried by direct touch or by air droplets. It is carried from one host into another by mosquitoes. When these mosquitoes actually bite an infected person, then go bite another healthy person, this plasmodium is transmitted from the infected to the healthy one. Also rabies. Rabies are transmitted by dogs, mainly by dogs. They can be transmitted also by cats, by bats, by raccoons, but mainly by dogs. They are transmitted from one person, from the infected person to the healthy one. So, it's very important to know what is meant by pathogen, how bacteria or any other microorganisms make you ill, either by releasing toxins or by reproducing very fast. They may reproduce and release toxin at the same time. They may reproduce and use the resources of the cell, which leads actually to the bursting of the cell eventually and damaging of the cells. And also they may make immune response such as rashes and fever. All of these you should know. So study very well and wish you good luck.